Hi everybody, TJ Mack of Vintage Cards and Nostalgia here. Over the past few weeks, there have been a lot of top 25 and top 50 lists popping up, usually centered around the most valuable cards in someone's collection. I've enjoyed seeing some of those videos, but that's never really been how I look at collecting. About 5 years ago, I did a series of videos where I asked a very simple question. If I could only keep one 30-card case, what cards would make the cut? I'll leave a link to those videos down below if you want to revisit them. Today, though, I thought it would be fun to come back to that idea, this time with a 36-card case. If I could sell everything else, what are the 36 cards that absolutely would stay with me? Now, some choices from that old video would still hold up, but quite a few have changed. Collecting evolves, we evolve, and the cards that matter most to us shift right along with us. Now, before we dive in, I want to be clear about something. This isn't a dollar value list. This isn't the most expensive or most iconic in the hobby. Instead, I broke the cards into the parts of collecting that mean the most to me. Beautiful photography, childhood favorites, cards tied to family, little pockets of nostalgia that shaped who I am as a collector. It made the process a lot more personal, and honestly, it was a lot harder. I've got over 2,800 graded cards, and narrowing that down to just a hair over 1%, well, let's just say there were some very tough cuts. Now, if you enjoy this video, I'll do an honorable mention one later on, because I left plenty on the table. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on cards I've talked about in other videos before, but I do want to give you a sense of why each made the case. The first 7 cards are what I consider the foundation. These are the cards that, as long as I'm collecting, they aren't going anywhere. Maybe someday a new card will rival one of them, but as of today, these 7 are untouchable. The first is the 1956 Topps Mickey Mantle. This is my favorite card in my entire collection, and honestly in the entire hobby. I saved for months to bring this one home, and nothing will ever top it. The second is the 1951 Bowman Tom Landry rookie. Growing up a Cowboys fan in the 80s, Tom Landry was the rock of that franchise. When he was let go, I was 14 years old, and it hit me hard. I couldn't imagine the Cowboys without that hat and that stoic gaze. Third is the 1971 Topps Bobby Orr, my favorite hockey card from my favorite set of my favorite player, the most transformative talent in NHL history. At 4 is the 1954 Topps Ted Williams, a true dream card. My wife surprised me with it for my 30th birthday. I'm 51 now, and it holds even more meaning. Number 5 is the 1953 Parkhurst Terry Sawchuk. In my opinion, the most beautiful hockey card ever made. At 6 is the 1957 Topps Rocky Colavito, a favorite of both my dad and my father-in-law. I bought this one with a Father's Day gift for my oldest daughter. Someday, I want her to own it. And the 7th is the 1962 Topps Manager's Dream. Before Brady and Manning, before Bird and Magic, there was Mantle and Mays, the two giants in the premier sport at that time. And as a bonus, behind them you get Hank Aaron and Johnny Roseboro joining the scene. Now, after those 7, the rest could change over time, but I imagine many of the cards I'm going to show won't. The next 4 cards represent my childhood heroes when I first started getting into the hobby. These bring me right back to when sports first became real to me. First is the 1978 Topps Reggie Jackson. This, in my eyes, is the perfect baseball card. I'd take it over his rookie card because it looks exactly how I picture my favorite player growing up. Then you have the 1980 Topps Dave Parker, my first year opening baseball packs. The Pirates were fresh off a World Series win, and this was one of the cards I chased. Then you have this 1978 Topps Tony Dorsett rookie. This card, when I was a kid, was everything to me. I still have my original copy. When we played football in the neighborhood on crisp autumn days, I wore his jersey because that's who I wanted to be. And then rounding out this group is the 1981 Topps Danny White. I barely remember Roger Staubach, but Danny White was my favorite quarterback as a young Cowboys fan, and this is the card that means the most. The next 9 cards are tied to my father-in-law, my dad, and my grandfather. 3 men who shaped how I see sports, collecting, and honestly, life. These first 4 cards remind me of my father-in-law. He's the reason why I fell in love with 1950s football. The first is the 1951 Bowman, Otto Graham, his favorite quarterback and my favorite Graham card. Next is this 1950 Bowman, Marion Motley. He talked about Motley with such respect, a player ahead of his time. Not only did my father-in-law love the Browns, he also followed the Indians. And here are 2 cards that remind me of him. The 1950 Bowman, Bob Feller. He saw Feller pitch in person on road trips his father would take him on. And then also this 1951 Bowman, Al Rosen, another favorite of his, and a card that captures Rosen perfectly. Next are 3 cards that remind me of my dad, who always supported my collecting, taking me to card shows and buying me cards from time to time. First is the 1971 O-Pee-Chee Guy Lafleur rookie. When I was a kid playing Activision hockey with him on the Atari 2600, he'd chant LaFleur every time he scored. I hear that name and I think of my dad. Next is this 1963 Bomber's Best. My first mantle. I bought it with him at a garage sale for $20. This isn't that exact card, but it brings me right back to that day. And then you have the 1962 Al Kaline. Mantle was his favorite, but he always had a soft spot for Kaline. My grandfather took him to see the Tigers, and Kaline stuck with him from that day on. And that brings me to my grandfather. There's one card that reminds me of him, and it's this 1952 Bowman, Sal Magley. I once did a video showing photos of my grandfather and Magley together from the newspaper. My grandfather was a talented local ball player and member of the Niagara Falls Sportsman Hall of Fame. He helped Magley build a teenage baseball league, and this one is a direct connection to him. The next 6 cards I'm going to show are ones that I love for their artwork and photography. These are the cards that stop me when I walk past the display case. The first is the 1935 Diamond Stars Jimmy Fox. The catcher's gear, the backwards cap, the mitt that looks like a couch pillow. It's a striking image. And next is the 1950 Bowman Sammy Baugh. You have Baugh in his leather helmet with that determined look on his face. Just a classic football image. And next is the 1951 Bowman, Tony Canadeo. This is my favorite vintage football art card. The fall foliage, the helmet shaped like a tip of a rocket. Pure autumn football. And here are the 3 portraits. These cards just photograph perfectly for me. The first is the 1963 Topps Sandy Koufax. This is what a pitcher looks like. Head tilted, eyes locked, that devastating curveball on deck. Then you have the 1964 Topps Pete Rose, a childhood dream card. Young Rose, red pinstripes, rookie trophy, future written all over him. And here's the 1959 Topps Jim Brown. Brown looks like a Greek statue come to life. The head breaking the border is a perfect touch. The next three cards I want to show represent my passion for the American Football League. Over the last few years, this has become a bigger focus in my collection, and these three cards really capture the spirit of that. The first is the 1963 Fleer Cookie Gilchrist, the AFL's version of Jim Brown. This two-time rushing champion was a force of nature. Next is the 1963 Fleer Lance Allworth, the rookie card of the AFL's greatest player and first Hall of Famer. And then you have the 1971 Topps Joe Namath, Broadway Joe, the smile, the swagger, and the upset that gave the AFL legitimacy. Here are four cards of players that I admire for their character. Of course, talent matters, but it's character that lasts. The first is the 1955 Parkhurst Jean Beliveau, who is pure class on and off the ice. Next is the 1971 Topps Hank Aaron. If I were starting a team in that era, Aaron would be my guy. He was the model of consistency throughout his career. This 71 Topps was the first Aaron card I ever remember seeing. My brother bought it at a show in 1981. Next is the 1979 Topps Roger Staubach, Captain America, excellence on the field, in military service, in business, and in life. And then finally is the 1961 Topps Roger Maris. Many thought he was the wrong guy to chase a baseball god's record. I think he was exactly the right guy, a humble and determined warrior. The next two cards are great characters who were also great players, both tough, both memorable. First, you have the 1953 Bowman Chuck Bednarik, concrete Charlie in a helmet that looks like Army surplus, and honestly that fits. He went into every game like it was battle. And then you have the 1954 Topps Gump Worsley, one of the great characters of the sport. When asked which team gave him the most trouble when he played for the struggling New York Rangers, he said, the New York Rangers. That's classic Gump. And finally, cards 35 and 36 were just two players that I love to collect. You have this 1958 Topps Johnny Unitas. I was fascinated by Johnny U as a 12-year-old. The flat top, the rounded shoulders. He didn't look like a quarterback, but he was a field general. Nobody talked in his huddle. One teammate said it felt like being in the huddle with God. And then you have the 1961 Topps Bobby Hull, the most electrifying player of the 1960s. I always call him Mickey Mantle on skates. The hardest shot, the fastest stride, the biggest cheers from the crowd. So, that's my 36. Not the priciest, not the rarest, just the cards that say the most about who I am as a collector. These are the ones tied to my family, my childhood, the players I admire, and the pieces of artwork that still make me stop and stare. And sure, down the road, some of these might get swapped out, and a few new favorites might work their way in. That's part of growing in the hobby. But right now, this case captures the heart of how and why I collect. It's the clearest snapshot of my journey so far. So I'd love to hear from you. which cards in your collection matter the most and why. Those stories are always my favorite part of this hobby. Thanks for watching, and thanks for spending a little time with me. And as always, take care.